Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? This is Robert with Burns Travels, and I got 3 projects in this little RV of mine that I have to do. So stay tuned. Okay, what are the 3 things? 1, it's the water pump. 2, it's the kitchen faucet. And 3, it's a little bitty piece of trim. All 3 of these are not hard. Pretty much the water pump works, but the backflow preventer that's built into it doesn't work. So when you have city water connected to it, it starts filling into the tank. And I've ran the pump, I've done all the things. It's the original pump on this 2014, and it's just probably bad. So I've already ordered a new pump. It isn't here yet, but that's that. The trim, I have a stray dog that someone dropped off here instead of taking it to the pound. So if you're somebody that's just drops dogs or animals out in the middle of nowhere, expecting them to survive, I'm not even going to say what you are, but you're not a very good human being, and you're lazy, and you're a couple other things, but I'm not going to go there. Just take your animals to a shelter and no kill if you think that's what they're going to do, and deal with it instead of just dropping them off in the middle of nowhere expecting them to survive, because they don't. They suffer and they starve and they die. Think of it this way. If someone dropped you off in the middle of the desert with nothing, would you make it? That's what happens to the animals. So take them to a no-kill shelter. This puppy was about 8-9 months, and it's the COVID thing. They probably couldn't afford to feed him, but they could have turned him in. Anyways, I put him in this RV with my daughter, temporary for a little bit, and he got a little excited and he chewed some trim. That's why I got to replace it. No big deal. That's the only thing that was damaged from the dog, was a little bit of trim around the edge. I can replace that easily. Okay, and then the other one is the kitchen faucet. Let me show you that. All right, here's the faucet, and I'll show you right here. Whenever the water was on, it would leak right here in this little spot. I've already disconnected it. It's really simple. All right, I've already disconnected it. You can see that just, you unscrew the 2 hoses from this, and there's a piece that clamps it to the sink underneath the bottom. But this is what I don't like about RV dealers or RV manufacturers. They put cheap crap in your RVs. This is all plastic, okay? And I understand that there may be a weight issue. There might be something with that, but damn, I'll tell you what, if they replaced all my faucets with metal ones, okay, I'd be okay with that 3 to 5 pounds of weight that I had to do. And actually all the 90 degrees and the fittings, that they were all brass instead of plastic, I'd be okay with that, because maybe that's 25 pounds total on my total weight on the difference of the RV. But I understand some people live in their RVs just once in a while, do weekend warrior stuff, and this is not a big deal. But if you're a full-timer, this is garbage. And I'll tell you what, let me show you the one I bought. Alright, this is the one I bought. You can see it's brass compared to the plastic. Garbage, not bad, and it's going to last probably the lifetime of this RV. Okay, so that's how I look at it. And you know what's weird is they feel almost the same weight. This one's just slightly heavier, the brass one. So really it's probably ounces, not even a pound difference here. They're so close. Garbage, but here's the thing. You go to buy this one, it was $30, right? Plastic. This one from Lowe's was 20 bucks. Much better deal, better quality, and it's going to go right back where the other one went and be put in and installed. It's super easy. Matter of fact, I'll probably install that now because it's out of the box. I just got to take a piece, screw this on, it clamps it to the thing, then screw the hoses in. It's not that hard. So maybe I'll do that here in a minute. Yeah, I don't know if you can see all this, but those are the hoses. They just screw right onto the bottom right there. So this is going to be a real easy job to do with this RV. So while I'm down here, like I said, let's just put this thing in. Super easy right here. that goes on, and these two pieces go underneath and tighten it up and make this tight and firm to the countertop. Then you just screw those two hoses I just showed you. So super easy. So let's go ahead and do that.
A few moments later.
What I'm doing is I'm going back and forth to each side and tightening it up once they get it up there snug. And then I'll just connect the water to them. And that will be done. And I'll just make those hose connections firm and tight, and we shouldn't have a problem. Now, for some reason, after I turn water in here, I have a little bit of water dripping. What I'll do is I'll just unscrew them, these connections, and I'll put Teflon tape on it. I shouldn't have to, but if that's what it does, that's what I'll do. It's not a problem. It's really easy access to it, so why not, you know? Pretty much, it's installed. It's done. So now, what I have to do is I have to install the water pump and work on this trim. Simple. Well, the next thing is the trim by the bed, which is really simple. Let me show you that and what the dog did and what I just got replaced. It's super easy. You won't be surprised how easy this is. So let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, as you can see, right down here is where this dog actually chewed on this trim. So I've already started taking this side one off, and then I just got to pop this piece off. And I'll put brand new wood there. It's not a problem. I'll just replace the wood. I'll paint it a dark brown leather looking color, and then I'll put screws into it just like they are now, and it will be fine. It will look fine. And then the color I'll paint that is the same color I'll paint that little bitty shelf that's in the kitchen. Super easy job to do. Nothing serious. I'll pop this wood off because it's in by little bitty finishing nails into this. So I'll go ahead and I'll just get it done and be done with it. So let me pull that wood off. Well, everybody, it's day 2 here at this RV that I'm doing those 3 repairs. The reason it's day 2 is 1, I had to wait for the pump to get here. It got here last night. 2, I threw my back out like 2 days ago, and I go for a while and it feels like a knife. It's just stabbing me in my rib cage in my back area, and it hurts pretty bad sometimes. So I figured I'll do what I can because it's going to hurt if I'm doing something or if I'm doing nothing. So yesterday what I got done was the faucet, and I got the trim off the corner and it all cleaned up. I have the trim, I have the water pump. So let's show you what I have to do with the water pump and where it's at. Actually, I'll bring it up here. The water pumps and the water tank and the hot water heaters all underneath one of the seats. So let me show you the pump. Okay, you can see the pump. It ain't very big. It's just 2 hoses, disconnect. I've already drained the tanks. And now I just got to take it apart. I'm going to put a towel down there just to catch any loose water because I ran the pump until it actually to have no more water coming out. So there's going to be residual still in there. I open up the main lower drain line. Everything is just so it's there to catch it just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and take that apart and get ready to have the new one. I got 4 screws I got to pull out of the floor. Then I can probably disconnect it really good. And the wires aren't connect with quick connects. They're just like spliced together. I'm actually going to put them in with quick connect. So in the future, if anybody's got to replace it, they don't have to cut the wires. They can just pull them apart. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, it just had 2 wires to it and 4 screws that went into the floor. It was hand tight on the 2 fittings that you can see dead center on the screen to the left of the water pump and across from it. So those were the 2 connections, and then of course it came to 2 wires right there. So let me show you what they did. All right, as you can see, these pieces right here, the wires go through and they clamp it down like that and locks them in. I don't have any of those. So what I'm going to have to do is this right here. I'm going to put one of these on one side, and this version on the other side, and they'll clip together. And that way, whoever gets the pump again, they won't have to cut wire. They'll just have to unplug it and maybe have whatever side I decide to put on the pump. I'll probably put the male side and this female on the wires in the rig there. So anyways, let's go ahead and get all that done onto this new one right here. All right, I'm twisting the copper wires here, and like I said, I'm going to put the male ends on these ones. And what you'll do is you'll slide it, let's see, right here. You'll slide the wire into it and it will barely stick out, and you'll clamp this piece right here, this section, and it will pinch the wire so it won't come out. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it on both sides. And when I'm done, I'll show you. And then I'll be looking for the blue, which is right there. Clamp it down real good. Then we'll do the other one right here and do the same thing with it. That way the pump has the males and the main wire come in has the female connection. Check and see they're good. They're good. So as you can see, let's see if we can get it in front of the camera, they're clamped on. This is the males. So now I'll do the females to the wire on the rig coming to the pump. So let's do that. All right, these are the wires going to the pump, and you can see I put the female ends on. Real easy to do, did it the exact same way. That way, if it ever has to be replaced, it's just a quick disconnect. All right, the wiring's done. So now I got to put the pump in, and so I'll probably put some Teflon tape around the threads of the pump so I can screw the stuff on there just to make sure there's no leaks. And I'm not going to screw it down to the deck until I got it connected to the piping. Once it's connected to the piping, then I'll go ahead and screw it into the deck. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not going to film it just because the camera won't fit in that angle. So when I get the wires, not wires, and the piping connected, I'll do a little video on that.
A few minutes later.
All right, got it in. Super easy, didn't really take that long, maybe 5 minutes. I just haven't screwed it in yet or water tested it. So I'm kind of nervous about water testing because then I got to drain everything again. But I got to do that. But let me show you how easy this was. All right, you can see that there's the water filter strainer that's built in with it. The connection there. I Teflon that connection, Teflon this connection, Teflon this connection. I hook this one up first, then put the pump down and hook that one up, and they're tight. And then you can see here, that was the connection I put, and then the other one's right here. And I'll probably wrap it with electrical tape when I'm all done. I just want to make sure it's all working. And I haven't screwed them down yet because there's a screw that goes here, 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 and here into the floor. I just wanted this in first before I bolted it down or screwed it down to the floor. So that's it. Pretty simple. I didn't have no windows open, so I'm sweating a little bit, but hey, that's not a big deal. It ain't gonna kill me. I'm not gonna melt or anything because of the sweat. So let's just get that done, and then there's only one thing left to do, will be the trim, and that's it. And this thing will be all done and ready to sell. Let me just finish this up and we'll go from there. Alrighty, I went ahead and turned the pump on to make sure it was running. I put water, not completely water in the tank, but about a quarter of the tank full of water. I pumped it through the line, made sure it was working. I'm not going to screw it down. The reason is I'm gonna see if there's anything leaking, okay, because it's under pressure. I'm gonna see if there's anything leaking. If there is, I'll tighten it up, because you know, I moved some other hose and the water heater line was just slightly adrip, so I tightened that up, and it's not dripping no more. But I'm just gonna wait and see. I'll wait 6 hours. If nothing's done by then, I'll screw it down in. And now it's just working on the trim. So let me show you what I've done on that already. Well, all I got to do now is just measure this stuff, cut the trim to the length that I need, and I'll spray paint it, and then I'll go ahead and I'll screw it in there with the wood screws that I got. But let me show you the tool I'm going to be using, because I have a handsaw, but that trim's only 1/2 inch wide and 1/4 inch thick, and it's going to break it. So I needed something that had fine. I don't have a hacksaw, but I have something else. Let me show you what that is. All right, this is the tool I was telling you about, a Dremel tool. Really fine blade. This is a wood cutting blade in drywall, so it cuts real fine, and I'll be able to use that to cut those small pieces of trim, since I don't have a miter box or anything like that. But this stuff works really good. I had this in my house, and boy, I use this a lot instead of pulling out the big stuff when I didn't need to. But this is a great little tool to have, probably for an RV. So that's what I'm going to cut the trim in with, and we're just going to go from there. I'm going to cut it all first. I'll get it painted, and then we'll go ahead and I'll start installing that. Hey everybody, it's a little windy outside. I'm kind of glad, because we'll dry off that wood trim a little quicker. Let me show you what I've done already. All right, there's the trim in that shelf that was in the kitchen. I'm letting it dry. I even painted the screw ends the same color. And when I get them back inside the RV and I get those pieces hung up, I'll actually tape it off really good, and I'll spray paint those screws again. That way they're all colored and meeting the match of the trim and stuff. But I sprayed them before I actually start putting them in, so I won't have that much to do. But I'm almost done. All right, we're going to get started putting this trim in. Let me show you how it's going to look when it's done. All right, you can see this trim right here has been painted and everything. It's a little darker than the other trim, but I don't care. It actually looks still nice. I'll make it flush with what's already here, and then I'll go ahead and bring the other piece on this side right here and screw that on. But I've already pre-tapped drill holes so the screw doesn't split the wood. So when you're doing wood trim that's really thin, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, pre-drill your holes, because so many times I have been screwing into something like that and didn't do that, and it split it, and I had to go buy new wood. So this just saves money and time. And on the end pieces, at least keep 1 inch to 1.5 inches away from the end piece too. But pre-drill your hole. Big thing that will actually help you out in the long run. So let's go ahead and get these things screwed in.
Here it comes. Prepare the foot. Keys to safety position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Well, I messed up a piece of trim. The pilot holes that I said to drill, make them big enough, they weren't big enough. So thank God I didn't do it to both. I broke one, so I'm gonna have to get another one, no big deal. But I drive 17 miles to get it. There's no other place closer. Anyways, I'll do that, and then, but the other one, that's on the other side, I made the holes bigger, didn't split. So I just didn't have them big enough. There's too much tension on the wood, as thin as it was, and it splintered. So it is what it is. I have to go drive 17 miles, about 35 miles round trip to get a $5 piece of wood. Anyways, so let me go get that.
2 hours later.
All right. I'm officially, in a way, done. 98% complete. I got back from the hardware store, put that wood trim in. It looks great. And the only thing I'm waiting on is the pump to see if it needs leaking in the fittings and the joints where everything's connected, and to see if that is, if I have to tighten everything up. If I do, I'll tighten it up. You've already seen how it's done. I don't need to wait for you to see that. But yeah, I did it basically time. It probably took 6 hours total for everything, but I did it in 2 days because my back's bothering me. It's bothering me right now, actually. But 6 hours, put a pump in to go ahead and put new strip in the corner here on both sides. Painted the shelf and everything, and put a faucet in. 6 hours, not a big deal. Not a lot of time for everything that I did. Oh, and you can add the LED lighting with that. Probably 6 hours for everything. So I'll give you a view on the next video, because the next video is going to probably be the for sale video. So thanks for watching. Thumbs up, heart it, whatever you guys want to do. Comment, all that kind of stuff, and we'll talk to you later.